I got myself an induction hob because John's going to keep the one that we had in the old van. So I got an induction hob. Do you think it's Mandy proof? You ready? It's easy. See, so then I can use my frying pan if I want to do greater portions of food. Honestly, all my cupboards are full of either food, ways to cook food, or places to store food. It's ridiculous. It's 6:30 and it's taken me all day. I think I might have 1 or 2 boxes left of things that are not food stuff. I've got my food cupboard, so that I am limited on the space for that. However, I did manage to fit all of my appliances in this little cupboard here, which means this one is now empty. It's like a surprise cupboard all by itself. So yeah, everything is looking pretty much me. Let me just get my little light. Let me show you. So I managed to find that the carpet here is enough for me to put my pins in. It's there. I like looking at it. The biggest problem I've got is I've got all my clean lines and I'm just sticking tat on them. So how long they stay there is a different thing. I've got my laptop bag, which used to be my work bag, and I found it in storage. And that is where all my badges used to be on the front. So there's still some on there. So I'm wondering whether I just continue to use the front of my laptop bag and put my pins on this, because I do love looking at them and still collecting them, rather than having them around, or at least put these big pins on, like the badges, and keep the pins there, because I can only get them in about that bit anyway. And I do have my Lucky Bee. This was the grandson's first toy that we ever bought him from Mamas and Papas. So obviously that's going. And then we've got my ukulele and somewhere to hang my tea towels. I could drive off now. I wouldn't leave John, of course, because he still needs a bit of help and stuff. Apart from my food and plates, I could drive off and everything's done. Everything's in. Just my golf clubs and my fishing gear. It's very important things, but I need to wait till tomorrow because I've got some Velcro strips coming. So, yeah. But for now, I bought a bottle of Jam Shed Malbec before when we were at the shop. I've got some pate and crackers with my name on it, and we're going to sit down and watch a film. And yeah, hopefully it's not going to get too cold. It was like -6 last night, but I was in the workshop, so that was a bit better. But I will pop out. I've got an alarm set for 9 o'clock, so I'll come out and turn my diesel heater on so I don't freeze. So yeah, yay! It's Friday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's our wedding anniversary tomorrow. So we're getting loads of stuff done today. I've got about a 1.5 hour window. It's nice and early. I don't know where my clock is. Have I got a clock in here at all? I think last time I looked it was like 8:15. So nice early start. Get loads of stuff done because I have got a day of accounting to look forward to. And I am looking forward to it because I have got brand new software that is absolutely brilliant and is helping me out loads. And I'm getting discounts for my customers that already use it. So it's that good, lovely feeling. All good. All good. However, I've got to try and find a way to keep my plates up like that. So I have made this. This slides in here. Oh, there's some grippy stuff at the back that's getting in the way, like that, and will stay like that. Also, I have got this magic Velcro, and basically it's hooks and loops on the same side, and you get these little buckles with it, so you can fold it over and stick it to itself. So I'm going to use that under the bed for fixing my golf clubs in between the bed beams and things like that. But I'm also going to do what it had in Bumble, because this was brilliant. So basically there was a piece of Velcro screwed to the back with a buckle on it, and then there was a piece of Velcro screwed to a piece of wood like that, and then you passed it through the little buckle back on itself and tightened down your plates. It was brilliant. There was no rattling, there was no nothing. So that's what I'm going to go for. And I might do the same thing against the side here, depending on how much room I've got, for just putting some little straps on to keep my cups in place. Because no one likes the cups knocking around, do they? So yeah, so I'm going to see what I can do with that stuff to just make everything work a little bit better in here. And there we go. Nice and tight. I've got to do this bit properly because I forgot to bring screws in with me, so I went for drawing pins. they're not going to stay. But yeah, so I'll just trim that off a little bit. But yeah, it's not going to rattle. It's not going to move much. I'm going to move it over just a little bit there. So yeah, sorted. Well, that was a lovely couple of days out. We ended up getting to a point where we were done before we expected to be. So we left a day early and thought we'll just find a pub stop. Called up some friends who weren't busy, and they met us, and we had a lovely night catching up. And then we had the night last night for our anniversary, so that was lovely. But now back with a bang to all the things that we have to do. So I bought myself an upgrade. Anybody that's on social media, on Instagram, will see that we were at Magnum Motorhomes yesterday. And while we were there, I've got myself a set of Remis blinds because I am very, very jealous of John's. He pulls up and he's like, right, okay, we're done. And he just goes, bish, bash, bosh. He's all locked up and done, and he's got privacy. And I was thinking that with me not having an actual toilet cubicle, that would be really handy if I needed to go to the toilet. I've still got my curtain if I don't want to do the blinds. They're expensive. They're not cheap, but I think they're going to more than earn the money as far as privacy is concerned, especially as I can't use that curtain really if I need to work. If I want to sit in the front, which is where I've made my work area. So a little bit more forethought probably would have been a good thing, but the Remis blinds means that I have got access and use of the full front of the cab and have privacy, so I can do it at night and have everything closed if I need to. Obviously it'll be lovely like a little conservatory when it's sunny. I think I've got about 5 things that I can choose to do today, and that's one on the list. It's a good job that John has already made a YouTube video about it, don't you know? When we had the first motorhome that didn't have a panel van motorhome, one of them that didn't have the blinds in. So yeah, so he's got a full video, so I can just watch that because he's got other things to do. And if I can get it done either by myself or just watching a little bit of YouTube, then yay, that's always a bonus, isn't it? There's that. There's putting some wiring in because I've bought myself like a light to go over the main door that I use in the van. I've got that too. I've got to pop some wiring in for the fridge because John's going to hardwire my fridge in instead of it being on a 12-volt socket. I want to paint the van and I want to paint the wheels, but it's still like 10-11 degrees, so I don't want to do it and it look ridiculously bad just because I've jumped the gun a little bit. But we've got a few things that maybe we could do to do that. My van's dead clean. I keep looking at it because it's like, oh, it's so shiny. Lots of choices of things to do today. What happens? Who knows? Probably half of something and then I'll get fed up and do something else instead. It's cold in here. John makes me laugh. He's like, man, it's not simple, it's fiddly, but it's easy. It's easy fiddly, not like, fiddly. So I'm just like, all right, okay, then let's just give us a run through. Right, well, all you have to do is take off this. Take this cap off, take that screw off, take this thing off, take your door thing off, take the cards off, do this, plonk that in, drill a hole, do this, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. Might choose something different to do today. Which is mean, because if I don't do it, John has to do it. So, it doesn't have to. If I don't do it, John will do it. I painted something. I told you something on my list wouldn't do. The little shelf I've got at the back of the van, that is absolutely brilliant for all my knickers and socks. Everything fits in there perfectly. Just not quite, I've not made the front quite deep enough so you can't actually see my kecks from when inside the van. Obviously, I don't find that a problem. It's just that if it's warm and I've got the back doors open, it's right there. So I've just literally made an extension piece that I'm just going to sit on top and screw into the front. I've already pre-drilled that. I'll pre-drill because it's 12mm. I'll pre-drill the stuff and just screw that onto the front just to make it a bit of a deeper cupboard. There's loads of room. So yeah, so once that's dry, I can put that in and add that to the extra list of things I didn't know I had to do today. Anyway, just a short instruction book. I feel a little bit bad for John because it looks like they've changed the design so you don't have to take your door to pieces. So if anyone is thinking of paying someone to do at least the sides, the front does look really fiddly, so I can tell you after that. But if you wanted the sides, fine with the front, whatever. The two side blinds, I think they're about 150 quid each if you don't get them in the kit. It literally is pull off the little inner surround, make sure that there's no plugs or things still in the holes that you're going to need to use. Stick and then screw a little retaining thing on one side and then screw in the top corner. That's it. And then you fit it all in place, just make sure it's all pushed in and it doesn't move. So if Mandy can do it, anybody else can do it. This is your official notification that Remis blinds are proper self-fit for dummies. The other, obviously the front one, and is really thingy. But then looking at John's video to see what he had to do before they made these changes, that was taking the whole door handle off because it fit behind all of this stuff. They've changed the profile at the bottom so it just slots in. So it doesn't quite look as neat as John's, I don't think. But as far as making it yourself, then yay! Poo in private. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Right. They're in. They are fiddly. The side ones, like nothing. Really, really easy to do. But these here, so you've got a little bar. Let's see if I show you there. That there. And then one here at the bottom. And that's what the side pieces run along when you do this. So it's nice and smooth. However, they have to fit in properly. Obviously, there's two sides to it, so you get 4 bars. The longer bottom ones are longer than the top ones, so you've got to make sure you get them that way around. You have to take off the pillar that's here. You have to take the speaker out and then put the speaker back into this one and then click it all in place. And obviously take the door rubber off because it all fits nicely. But I mean, look at the finish though. Technically, that is pretty sweet. I am well impressed with that. The problem I had, and I had the biggest tantrum that you have ever seen in your life, because I couldn't get these 2 bars to fit into each other. And the reason why I had a tantrum was that behind here, there are things that clip into holes that hold all the things on. And you have to give them a good bang to get them in. And I thought they fit fine because this bit here was trimmed nicely and it was trimmed nicely down there. But the bottom bit still wouldn't fit in and the top bit was even worse. It was ridiculous. So I phoned John. I'm like, come in and help me. And it turns out that I'd left 2 cap covers on the bit clips that go in. They had, like, you could just lift them up, little black plastic trim on. So even though this looked like it was going in place, it was probably about 4 or 5 mil out on either side. And that was enough to knock it for me. So it didn't close together. If I'd have realised that in the first place and done them, then it would have been a real straightforward install. Fiddly, like I said, fiddly, but still really good. You have to screw up into here. You get some plastic, there we go, you can get some plastic screws, and that screws into your headliner and holds this bar up here. That was just a bit of an oomph. You kind of had to pre-make the hole in your lining and then they screwed in fine. But yeah, still doable if you want to do it yourself. If you are a little bit handy, I think that'd be fine. I recently heard from someone who paid, I think it was £300 for them to be fitted. And I did them in half a day. And that's with a massive tantrum in the middle. And I did something in between doing the sides and the front. So say give yourself 2-3 hours and save yourself all that money. But they are just the best thing ever. So it's that, I can't do it one-handed. And then I've got privacy. It is just so cool. Best money ever. Well, everything in here is best money ever. But these are definitely something that I am very, very glad I've done. More workshop-y things today. Today I am building my step, or the cover that goes over my fridge so I can use it as a step to get into bed and a seat. It is 5 pieces of wood cut and pocket hole together, so hopefully it should be quite straightforward. And then, you know, the 67 working days it takes for the paint to dry and to sand and all of that stuff. And then I've got to get my sewing machine out and make myself a nice little cushion to go on the top so it's comfy for if I do use it as a seat. And yeah, and we're also waiting in for someone to have a look at my battery. So if you all know, I've got Beyond battery. I don't know if I've said anything already, but we had a few problems with connecting to the BMS. and I've not got a shunt or anything. I have no other way of checking what my battery percentage is. So figured, you know, if I'm outside, I've got solar. If I'm in here, I can do it. I can check on amps. Is it amps on my battery? Because there is a whole lithium guide. It's just that my the Remis MPPT, which is the thing that I've got that shows me what the amps are, it's only 1 decimal place. And to check accurately, it's like 13.24 volts or 13.26 volts. So I just can see 13.2, which gives me a range of something like 20 to 45% left in there. So, you know, I can tell what's going on. I don't use the battery for an awful lot. It literally is just lighting and my fridge. But the battery obviously needs looking at. And I've also found that when you take it off power source, it doesn't work. So it's like the BMS has buggered in some way. I don't know enough to talk about all of this, so I'm going to wait for the guy from Beyond Batteries. He's coming up today. He's up here on business anyway, so he's going to pop in and see if he can fault find, fix or replace it for me. So fingers crossed that'll be sorted today in one way or another. We'll see what's going. He's a nice guy. Very grateful for him to come in and have a look at it, and I will keep you posted and let you know how that goes. But for now, table has wood on it. I'm going to make myself a coffee because I just do that anyway, don't I? And then I'll start doing my, what would be one of the final 3 things I need to actually build out of wood for my van. Oh, sorry about the sizzling in the background. We were having Philly cheesesteak for dinner today, but had to wait a little bit, so we're a little bit hungry. But Colin from Beyond Batteries has been, what a lovely guy. Cannot fault how they have been with this problem with the battery. It's the first one that's ever failed, and they can't wait to get back to the workshop and take that battery to pieces to find out exactly what has gone on with it. So they've got a YouTube channel, so I think the breakdown of my battery and fault finding is going to appear on there. However, he's got a few apps at his disposal that he can use. Nothing brought mine back to life again enough for Colin to be happy with it. He did get it working again, but then he did some tests and he just said, nope, I am not happy at all with leaving that in there. So he swapped it out straight away. Yeah, I got a duff one. Something happened, whatever it was. And yeah, it's all been resolved, and you can't get better service than that. It's always at the end of the phone as well. So you find loads of other battery companies that you can't even phone if you need them. So him and his partner are always on the end of a phone. So I now have a new battery and I am up and running again. It's just charging. So yeah, can't fault it. Well, thanks for coming along with me on this one with my beautifully fitted blinds, and now my plates can stand up in the cupboard, hopefully without rattling. We'll soon see how that goes on its first drive out. It's not been anywhere to test it out, but hopefully that will change soon. So thank you very much and take care, and I will see you all soon.